Alright, the long-awaited third Chaos Realm is out. And let me tell you right now, this is really difficult. I tried to go in with a full free-to-play comp, and it went terribly. I only managed to get full free-to-play in the first stage. Okay, so the first stage is very straightforward. You just bring like a bunch of DPS and maybe put them on the Zeus set, and you can pretty much clear it with any team. So this one you can go ahead and do fully free-to-play. But in stage 2, you're gonna have a little bit of trouble. Okay, now for stage 2, you're gonna run a full poison team and also Jiangman. Jiangman helps to put the silence debuff on Heng Yue. But if you don't have Hilda or if you don't have Ife, this is gonna be very difficult. But I think this is probably the most budget team you can get. You just need R0 Ife or R0 Hilda. Or you can just run Lu Sheng, right? Lu Sheng with like 1 DPS should be enough. But I'm gonna try to go with a budget team, which is the poison team. And with Hilda, you can just pretty much let the enemies kill themselves. The problem here is most of the free-to-play poison units, they don't land a lot of poison debuffs. You only have Kara, which can land 2 poison debuffs, and then Jacob, which only lands 1, and then the other free one is going to be a 3-star rare Esper, the Condom Lady, which sucks. She only lands 1 poison stack, and yeah, that's pretty much the problem with poison Espers, the free-to-play version. They just don't land enough poisons, and you need Hilda or Ife to land multiple poison stacks. Hilda can land like I think 4, and Ife can land 3 with her S3. Hilda is a lot easier compared to Ife, but I did run both Ife and Hilda just to see if it's doable with Ife, and it is. Now, this is the hardest stage of all the Chaos Realm. Stage 3. At this point, you will no longer be able to clear it fully free to play. So you need some summonable Espers. And not just some summonable Espers, you need the most OP of all OP Espers. So the first version I tried is to AP control them with Lucas and Sander. It went terribly. He just one-shots my units. Hyde just one-shots my unit, and he's really fast as well, so it's really difficult to AP control him. The second failed run is I used Lu Sheng plus Chloe. I thought Chloe was able to maybe one-shot Hyde. Not even close. I think with her S3 she did like 600,000 damage, and Hyde took like 20% or 30% of his HP. That's just ridiculous. And then the third failed attempt, I tried to 1v1 Hyde with my Fushi. My Fushi is R6 and D4, which also failed. Hyde does not care about type disadvantage in this mode. He just crits on your Fushi like it's nothing. And Fushi, even with all the damage reduction he has from Lu Sheng, and also with the defense that he gets from his own passive and from Lu Sheng as well, is not enough to tank Hyde's damage. And then my last final attempt, I couldn't be bothered anymore. I just ran the Holy Trinity of Lu Sheng, Feng Shun, and Elif, with Fushi as well. Because even with the Holy Trinity, it's really hard to kill off Hyde. So I slot in Fushi just in case my Elif or someone else dies. Again, this is the hardest stage of all the floors. You can maybe get away without R6 Elif. Maybe you can run Daji as well. But you need a really strong Inferno DPS, otherwise Hyde will be unkillable. Again, my R6 and D4 Fushi couldn't solo Hyde. So you need at least like 2 Inferno DPS for this to work with Lu Sheng. Stage 4 is very interesting. There's 4 Tolans in the battlefield, but it's really easy because you can just AP control them to hell. I decided to use Ming Shuo as the leader spot. You don't really need Ming Shuo, but he does help a lot from the damage and also for the leader skill as well. And then you want to run Lucas plus Tricky, because Tricky can extend stuns. You don't want them to take any turns, because if they do take a turn, they're gonna exile one of your units, and that can be problematic. So just stun them to hell. Alright, stage 5 is also very straightforward. The first team I ran was with Hilda. Again, Hilda is going to be a cheat code right here, because you can just stun them or sleep them to hell. Alright, so second team, if you don't have Hilda, you can run the previous team for Chaos Realm number 4, which is running Lucas and Tricky. Same concept, but this time you don't want them to be out of stun, because if they do get out of stun, they can counter you, which will do a lot of damage. So you want them to always be stunned, and the way to do so is by extending the stuns with Tricky's S3. Chaos Realm number 6 is a little bit different. You want to control them, but you want to control them through AP manipulation, not stuns. Because every 10 turns, everyone on the battlefield will be purified. If you have buffs, you gain AP. If you have debuffs, your max HP cap reduces. So instead of stunning them, you want them to be AP controlled. Alright, Chaos Realm number 7. I decided to go for 2 teams as well. The first team I ran was with Lucas and Ira. This is not the fastest way, but it can be done. Second team I used Hilda. Again, Hilda is going to be a cheat code for most of these fights because Poison does not care how much HP or defense the enemy has, because for this stage, the enemy has a lot of HP and defense. So Hilda just completely shreds through that. Alright, Chaos Realm number 8. This one is very quick because when you run Tricky, the enemy will cleanse 3 debuffs on them and they will take true damage based off their max HP. So they pretty much instantly die from Tricky's damage and also Hilda's poison damage as well. You don't need Tricky for this one, you can run any other buff Dispeller As long as the buff Dispeller is faster than Hilda, it should be fine. Again, you can run Lucas as well, but Tricky is going to be the best because you pretty much one-turn the enemy team because of Tricky's passive. And then lastly, Chaos Realm number 9. This one is also pretty easy. You just bring Lucas to AP control them a little bit, and you bring Hilda to kill off the enemy team. You also want to run Speed Lead because you want to outspeed them. You don't need to use the additional buffs that the game gives you because this one is, again, it's pretty straightforward. You just control them to hell. Aside from the hide stage, I kinda like this Chaos Realm. Most of the stages are really difficult, but they're not impossible, right? As for the hide stage, if you don't have Lu Sheng and a really strong Inferno DPS, it's probably impossible to even clear it. But some of the other stages, all you need is just Lu Sheng and a controller. And again, Lu Sheng is pretty much a must-have in everyone's account. That's probably the first support or first Esper that you should be summoning on. So yeah, that's about it. Ciao.